Hey guys, it's Animelover and I'm back with another video. So in this video, I'm going to be reviewing some more stuff. This should hopefully be the last set of stuff that I have to review for a while. Hopefully, quote unquote. The reason why this one has taken me a while is because it's very intimidating. Let me just push it in. Here it is. This is what it is. It's a whole thing of Kingart alcohol markers, and there's 120 of them. It's been very intimidating to even start it because there's so many, and just I'm very nervous to start the swatching process mostly because there's so many. It doesn't look like 120, but it is, and I'm just like, oh, okay, well, we'll see about that. I'm not gonna count. I definitely will not count after this at all. But yeah, this is the set. Yeah, it's another Kingart. I keep finding Kingart. I never knew this brand existed until I started buying things and then finding them, and I'm like, wow, there's so many of them. I did not even know at all. This was $50. So this better be worth it or I'm going to be kind of annoyed. Yeah, it's $50 for 120 markers, but it's $50, and so it better be decent. So far, the Kingart that I have used has been pretty decent, so I am kind of interested. Each one has been very different, though, because it's been, water-based markers and, watercolor-based markers. This one is straight up, permanent marker. And it even says it, hold up, it even says it, right there. It doesn't say, it does say alcohol, but it says permanent alcohol-based ink, which I've never heard, any alcohol-based markers kind of refer to themselves as permanent markers. So I'm very interested to see how these are going to work and how they are going to just in general just be and how they are going to feel. I guess let's just rip the band-aid off and just get straight into the swatching. This is going to take absolutely forever. It indeed did take forever. It took me 31 minutes to swatch every single color. That was awful. Oh my goodness, you guys do not understand how awful it was to swatch every single color. I wanted to be done swatching. I got there in the end. It took forever. So something that I definitely did notice while using these was the colors for a lot of these were not matching the caps or the markers themselves. So I got thrown off. I put down a tan color and it came down as purple. And I was like, why are you purple? And then later it clears up and then it is straight up just a tan. And I'm like, okay, that's weird as heck, but you do you, marker. Another thing that I did notice while using these that kind of was a little bit annoying was they were very hard to pull open at times, that it did end up hurting my hand a little bit, mostly after doing a whole color swatching thing for 30 minutes, and it was really irritating just in general with that. Another thing I also noticed was some of the fine tips, which might add, they're not fine tips. Fine tip is where it is super thin. This was a bullet nib, not a fine tip kind of thing. This was just a bullet nib, like every other alcohol marker. It just says it's a fine tip, but it's actually a bullet nib. A lot of them, I think at least 6 of them maybe, were just straight up just dried out. I could not use them. There was maybe a little bit of pigment in them, but they were just straight up dried. And I was like, okay, that's weird. But a lot of the chiseled, sides were, fine. None of them seemed kind of an issue and all that. So I was like, okay, that's very interesting of why one side is dry, but the other isn't. I mean, it could be because it was facing upward and then downward, and the ink mostly went to the chisel. And that's how I presumed it was. And I just thought that was a very interesting kind of thing. Like most markers, at least double-sided markers, it actually has a little gray stripe on it to tell you which side is the chisel and which side is the bullet nib, and I did like that because it makes it very easy to tell which side is which. I did confuse it occasionally, but that's just me personally. I'm just dumb. So me mixing it up is just a me thing and not the marker's fault on that one. Something that did happen while doing this video was I was trying to move the markers around to try to see if I can put them in better or fix how they were, or see, because I accidentally lost where I was when I was doing it, and I was like, oh no. So I was trying to see if I could tilt it and move it forward and have it lay on its side. The moment I did that, I didn't know there was a thing in there. Like, I kind of did, but then I didn't. But there's a thing in there that's a grid, that, like, a plastic grid that leaves all the markers be able to stay in their own, like, little order thing. Didn't know they had that. It was kind of what they had when I did the other markers in the cute little rose bag kind of thing. It was like that. But it was very much, it was basically bigger and noticeabler. But it was very much, I could pull it out basically, and when I tilted it, it very much just moved all the markers, and when I tried putting it back down, all the markers were shifted, and I could not shift it back. And I said, oh, okay, so right now it's kind of screwed up. And so I had to pull every marker out to then fix it, to then be able to, like, do it, but I had to just do that as I go, like pulling each marker out as I used each marker and putting it to the side. And then once all the markers were done, I then had to reorganize everything by color order, which that took me like an hour maybe to do. I didn't do that on camera. You guys weren't going to see me do that because that was awful. So that was something that happened. Kind of annoyed me. So if you move it around or you tilt it or if it falls over, you're gonna maybe have to fix it, or you're gonna have to do something. I don't know, because they were all like tilted way too forward, and I was like, oh, well, that's not fun. So that was something that kind of very much irritated me while doing this, that I definitely was very I mean, I was gonna organize them anyways, but it made it more annoying later down the line kind of thing, so. While doing this, Fangirl wanted to basically make little circle cutout things and glue them on top of the markers, just so it was easy to see what the colors were, since they were very much liars of what their caps and like markers actually said they were. So I was like, oh, okay, we did that. So that took at least like an hour and so that was off camera as well, because I, again, wasn't going to show that, as that was just a whole off camera annoying process thing. But while doing it, we were doing so well, and I was noticing that a lot of the colors were like very pale and like off color, and I was like, that's weird. Why are they off color? Why are these so much paler than the ones that are in my book? Well, I noticed how Fangirl was like picking them up, and she was picking them up with like her finger and then handing it over to me, so then I had the correct side each time I put it on the marker. Well, her finger was picking up the pigment, which made it paler than it actually was. And so after we put all them on the markers, she just got some piece of papers and then she just swatched them all, wrote the names on them in color order of how they were put in the thing, just so that it is just easier. So I also have the caps, but I also have the color set and color swatches on a side if I need that. And I actually want more of the accurate color that is there because of that mishap that we had. And again, that took at least like, I don't know, like an hour, maybe 2 hours to do just fully. it was not fun. It mostly happened after I did the sketch of this, and then she was like, because she needed to charge her phone, and then she was like, oh, hey, and all that, and then she proceeded to drag me into her little color swatching thing. I didn't want to do it. I was going to hold up and not do it. I mean, I'm glad that she made me do it because it was easier to find colors later down the line, since a lot of the colors were very misleading, but don't tell her that, guys. Don't tell her that she was right to do it. But I did appreciate it in the long run when I did have to actually do the whole process of it in general. So, as you can tell, the watermark is back, meaning that these characters are for sale. And basically, I'm actually going to be selling them all together. So, they're going to be a little bit pricey since I'm selling them all together and all that. So, when this video is uploaded, it will be uploaded onto our Toy House and on our Adopt Instagram. So if you are interested in these characters, then it will be in the description down below for you to check them out. And I will also write down if the character is all the characters are sold and all that, just so people don't get their hopes up and think, oh, I can still get the character, and then the character's already sold to someone. Just so, that doesn't, the whole misunderstanding thing doesn't happen. So just letting y'all know that these characters are for sale, and they will be, again, a little pricey, but they all are being together. They are a bundled group. You get all 4 of them. You do not just get one. Even if you just want one, you don't get just one.
And I like when you say I'm the one you're so easy to love. You're easy to love. Yeah, you're so easy to love. And I like when you say I'm the one you're so easy to love. You're easy to love, yeah. Yeah, I can even focus on sleeping. You're so pretty every day I'm thinking. Baby, could you help me cause I'm freezing. If you want to see me it's cause you miss me. You say that you will love me every night and day, and I promised you that I would do the same. I know that nobody will love you the same way. Yeah, you're so easy to love.
So let's get into the pros and cons of these markers. So let's start with the pros. So the first one is I really, really love the case. I love that it's very travelable. I love that it has a little handle. I love that it just can hold all 120 markers. I love that. I love that about that. I think that is a really cool thing, and it is very easily, I can put it places and I don't have to worry about them being all scattered and loose and all that. I really enjoy that, and I enjoy that I can look at all my colors and they are just there for me to see instead of me having to search through a bin while they're all sideways and I can't really see them properly. So very much love the case. Another thing I really liked was there was a lot of colors. So last video, I complained basically about the markers that I was using and how it is very much in the green and blue department. Yes, this did have a lot of blues and greens as well, but it also had a lot of variety in other colors like reds and pinks. There was a lot of pinks. I was actually really surprised with how many reds and pinks there were. And a lot of yellows, a lot of different type of yellows. I was actually surprised how many gold yellows there were. I didn't get to use a lot of those ones, but I did notice a lot of just colors, and it was really nice. All of them had different varieties of colors, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. I still think that the browns could have been a little bit darker in some aspects, but it was still very nice. But I do think some of the browns should have been darker. Just in general, they were a little too light for my liking for some things, and I just wish they were a little bit darker. They were also very smooth on the paper, which was actually really I kind of expected it, since they're alcohol markers, and alcohol markers are very just smooth in general. But I was maybe expecting them not to be smooth, or them not to work as well on this paper, and they actually decently worked really well on the paper. They didn't eat up at my paper, they didn't do anything like that, and I was very thoroughly surprised and very happy with that. They basically just work like normal alcohol markers. So, honestly, that's basically what they are. They just act like normal alcohol markers, just a little bit maybe cheaper. I'm not 100% sure if they're cheaper or not, but they just work like normal alcohol markers. Now let's get into the cons, as there are a few of them. So, the first one was, and this one kind of irritated me, was even though there was a lot of colors, a lot of them felt like duplicates. Like, when I was color swatching, a lot of them felt very similar, maybe just like a tiny bit color off, but a lot of them just felt like they were the exact same color, and I was just like, oh, this is just a duplicate. It just says it's not a duplicate, but it felt like that. A lot of them looked very similar and like almost identical, and I feel like we could have gotten maybe a different like color in general, instead of like a color that looks like an example of this was there was 3 grays, and one was named Fossil, one was named Pearl, and then one was just named Light Gray, and they all looked very similar, and I think we could have just done with it being just a whole different color instead of just the exact similar marker in gray. That's just me, though. Either or, it was still nice to have a lot of colors and different variety. I just think that we could have done with a bit more colors instead of just duplicates. Another thing that very much irritated me, which also took a lot of my time in the making of this video, was the markers did not match the markers in general. The colors did not match, and it was so irritating that I had to put things on the markers to make sure I could tell them apart and what their colors actually were, and make a color swatch sheet just so I also knew that they were still what colors they were, and see if I was correct or not. That was annoying. That was infuriating, just in general, and just there was a lot of markers that were very misleading on their colors, and I know markers very much do that, like alcohol specifically have done this, and I've heard a lot of people say just in general that's how alcohol markers work, but these ones were the worst in that, in my opinion, for this specific brand. Another thing that kind of irritated me was that it said that they were fine tips, but they're not fine tips. Fine tips is what you would, I presume, what you would deem as an outlining tip. Something that makes very, very thin lines. I was expecting very thin, like I could maybe outline with it. But it was just a bullet nib. It was literally just a bullet nib that they just marketed as fine tip. And I was kind of a little annoyed with that because, again, I bought them thinking it was going to be a fine tip. And with how they even put it on the packaging, it looked like a fine tip that you would outline with. And that was very irritating that it was not that. And I was very disappointed when I got that and I saw it. Another thing was a lot of the fine tips were basically just dried out. Like I said earlier in the video, I think there was at least 6, maybe a little bit less, maybe more. I don't remember. But I remember a lot of them were very dry, and they were basically unusable. So I had to just stick to the chisel side, even if it was hard to color in a spot with the chisel. So I had no choice because they were so dried out. Another thing was that it basically bled and faded my outline when for the line art for this drawing. I did use Sharpie, which is to be expected that other alcohol pens or markers are going to bleed with alcohol basically based markers. I know that's how it works. But I don't have anything else. That's the problem. I don't have any outlining pens. I wasn't going to outline with a colored pencil because that's not how I outline. And it just made it very difficult because it was taking away my outline, and I was like, well, this is just irritating. So that was something that definitely kind of annoyed me a little bit while doing this. So I do not recommend, if you are doing this, to use Sharpie. And if you do, maybe wait a super long time or outline afterwards. I'm not sure yet, but I don't know. That was just something that kind of irritated me a little bit. Another thing was the case thing. So, like I said very much earlier in the video, was that if you tilt it, I think you're screwed. You have to probably reorganize it and fix it. That was something that kind of irritated me. I was hoping it was kind of like mantled like into the thing itself and I didn't have to fix it, like how the case was for that other brand that I worked with, and I was very much hoping that's how it was going to be, but it wasn't. That was definitely not how it was, and you can move it, you can pull it out, you can fix it, not have it in there, and I find that cool. But also, it made it where if you make one tiny little mess up, all your markers are now sideways, and it's very hard to fix it. And that was something that very much irritated me, because it took a lot of my time to have to fix it. For $50, which is that's how much this was, I was not very wowed. I do not think it was worth $50, I guess. And I understand that is 120 markers, and each marker is estimated to be around maybe $2.40 per marker. That just the simple math that I did for it. And I don't really think it is worth $50, to be honest. I think you could get a much cheaper brand, or you could get an expensive brand for better quality markers. It is definitely, it did not disappoint me, but it also did not wow me. And that's how a lot of Kingart has been every single time I have used them. They do not wow me, they do not shock me, and they're just there kind of thing. And that's kind of just how they are to me. I like the brand, I do like using them, but I also am not very wowed by them. They are not groundbreaking markers kind of thing. These markers are not something I will seek out in the future, or like if I need, like, say, more of them, I'm probably not going to. I'm just going to probably use up the set, and then that's it. I probably will not get them ever again, but I will try to use them to their full capacity and all that, just in doodles or just small things and kind of things like that, which is what I normally do with art. And that's what I'm probably going to use them for, since, again, not really, they're just kind of markers. Since we're getting close to the end of the video, I'm going to do a little self-promotion because I can. So, all these links will be in the description down below, so if you are interested in checking them out, then you can go check them out down there. So, if you want to get early access, exclusive art, or art that will be posted far earlier than being posted on YouTube, then you can go check out our Patreon. We are trying to upload as frequently as possible and as much as possible for you guys, just so you guys have content and things like that. If you're interested in getting commissions or yachas or anything around those lines, then go check out our Ko-fi. And if you're interested in getting characters or like custom characters from us, then you can check out our Toy House or our Adopt account on Instagram. And again, if you are interested in these characters here on, like, in the video and all that, then you can go check out our Toy House and our Adopt account, which is where you will find them on the day that this video is uploaded. And again, I will let you all know if the characters are sold or not. So if you are interested in these characters, then definitely let me know and all that kind of fun jazz. And if you did enjoy this video and you want to see more content from us, then please let us know in the comments down below, and what type of videos you want to see from us, is just in general kind of thing, because we have ideas, but we also want to hear from you guys to know what you guys want from us and what you would like to see in the future. And if you guys did enjoy this video, then please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!